Hello everyone, it's Laurie Blomer here on Sunday, October 5th, 2025, and I'm here for this week's card pull for spiritual reflection and spiritual inspiration. If you've been following along, welcome back. For those of you who are new here, almost every week I pull a card just for the purpose of spiritual reflection and spiritual inspiration. I like to call it a helpful lens through which to view our life's experiences over the course of the week. It's really for the purpose of just becoming a better, wiser, more evolved human being, and a better, wiser, more evolved soul. So I work with whichever deck I feel compelled to work with. By the way, you could see tables in back of me yesterday. I taught what I thought was a really cool class on getting in touch with your intuition. One of the things we talked about was working with cards as a way of sort of bypassing intellect, working strictly with our intuition. That's really what this card pull is about. I'm going to pull a card. I'm shuffling as I'm talking here, and I'm just gonna tell you right off the bat what jumps out to me intuitively as aspects of the card or perspectives the card offers that I want to focus on this week or keep in mind this week, that helpful lens. You are welcome to take my lead. More importantly, I encourage you to think about what jumps out to you based on what you know about your life this week, what you're trying to accomplish, your larger goals as a person who continues to evolve. So the deck I'm working with is one that I haven't worked with in a while. It's by Colette Baron-Reid. I like her decks a lot. The imagery almost always tends to be extremely complex and sometimes even a little bit blurry. And I think the blurriness is not because it's not a good print job. Sometimes graphics are not so great if it hasn't been a good quality print job. I think it's more for the purpose of allowing our intuition to look at something, let it be intentionally blurry so we can use our intuition to interpret what it is. But there are always lots of stuff going on in the imagery, so I will hold up the card for a little while. At any rate, the deck that I'm using is called the Enchanted Map. It's 54 cards, not as big as a tarot deck. Tarot has 78, but 54 cards. Lots of symbolism utilized, and I love the idea of the map in as much as we all have an inner guidance system, our inner compass, if you will, that sort of leads us past what conventional wisdom might say is good for us, and think more in terms of what do we know is right for us based on who we are, what we need, and all those kinds of good things. So as I've been talking, I've been shuffling. When I shuffle, it's really with that intention of what is a card that will be helpful and inspiring, not just for me today, but for anyone else who's watching this video. Always in my little write-up that I send out through my mail distribution system, I'm gonna continue to sit with this card, and I generally share even more in that write-up. So I encourage you to take a look at that and sign up for my mailing list if you're not on it. And I always include Heather Colletti. Heather Colletti is a friend who is a philosopher. She used to teach philosophy at university, and she is an astrologer, and she's a life coach. So Heather's going to look at the card separately from me. I pull the card, I just send a picture of it to her, and she goes to town with it, drawing not just from her intuition, but also talking about what's going on astrologically for the week and how this card might give us an opportunity to work with those energies in a way that's really constructive for us. So it's fun. The video shares something with you, but you get even more from the email. Okay, shameless plug done. Here we go. I'm going to pull my card. I always pull a few from the beginning, from the middle. And then I'm going to split the deck in two. And whichever card my thumb is on is the one I'm going to go with. That's that idea of working with intuition. My intellect doesn't have any say. It doesn't know. They all look the same, right? It doesn't know. So I'm going to go with my gut on the one that feels right for me. So here we go. I'm going to split the deck in two. This is one my hand is on. And it is Sad Embrace. It's a beautiful image. This may not sound like the most inspiring message in the world, but there are a couple things I want to highlight here. First of all, it's card number 45, and in numerology, 45, we add the 4 and the 5 together and we get 9. 9 in numerology is the end of a cycle. In numerology, all digits reduce down to 1. You keep adding them together, integers together, until you get reduced to 1. So the idea that we're in a 9 year, it's an end of long cycle, a cycle that really is about incredible growth, but endings meaning there are things we need to let go of in order to move forward and have new beginnings. Make space for them, let go of them. And very often those 9 type of endings are those big things we've been carrying around for a long time. Or maybe they've gotten so burdensome and so heavy that you're ready to let it go or ready to be done with it. So this is a great year, even now, I know we're pushing the end of the year, to be thinking about what you want to let go of. So that's one perspective on this. The other thing I want to say is as we move into October, towards the end of the year, this is the time when things are, quote, dying off. Leaves are going away, so to speak. It's a time where we go inwardly, and it's also towards the end of the month, of course. It's Halloween, it's All Souls Day, Dia de los Muertos. So the idea of us honoring that which has passed and also coming to terms with things that just need to pass. Now, what I like about this sad embrace image is this looks like a little fairy, sort of hunkered down. They've got their arms around their knees. They're comforting themselves. So interestingly, this reminds me intuitively that a sad embrace doesn't always have to come external to us. It could be what we can do to help ourselves through difficult times, times of healing, times when we have to let something go. And that sort of head down to me is also a time of retreat. So you might think about this week, not just what do I need to maybe let go of, but also where do I need to just comfort myself to get through difficult circumstances. Where can I rely on myself when it comes to self-care, self-nurturing, so I can get through whatever it is I'm sad about. I also love the fact that we've got clouds that look like they're sort of going away. And above that, we've got a moon rising, and the moon is shining light, and the stars are up there as well. So the idea of, again, a new beginning. You know, a full moon, moons are often used as metaphorically, symbolically in oracle cards and also in tarot as well. There's a card called the moon. When I think of full moon, I think of a beautiful lit night where things are as visible as they can be in the dark. But even then, moonlight and moon shadows are kind of distorted. So sometimes the moon symbolizes that our inner self, our shadow self, if you will, those aspects of ourselves that we don't want to embrace, those things that we try and stuff down, that we don't want to face it in a conscious awareness way, that come up to the surface. And sometimes sad embrace means I'm being triggered by something that is ready to be healed, that I need to let go of. Might even be out of proportion for the situation, meaning the reaction that I'm having. So the idea of the moon shining on this situation might be an invitation for healing. And that could be professional help. It could be just facing something. It's getting in the way of moving on. But all that said, I really want to highlight the fact that it looks like there's a new day or a new evening it's starting for this little being here. Sad embrace doesn't have to be alone, but knowing that particularly if you're an adult, you have the skills within you to follow the good advice you would give to a friend. I think of that, how many times it's like, what should I do here? I'm like, well, if this was happening to a friend, what would be the wisest advice I would be giving them to get through this difficult time of sadness? Can I try that for myself too? Right? We'd probably be telling our friends, take care of yourself. Don't worry about meeting expectations. You can't. Take it easy. Take things in stride. Sometimes we need to remind ourselves to do that, right? Follow our own good advice. So there you go. There's some thoughts right off the top of my head. Again, I really encourage you to consider what jumps out to you. It might be the shades of blue there. It might be something else about the image. But it is a beautiful card, and it is an invitation. And it's very much in line with this 9 year to say, is there some remaining work that I still need to do? Is there something I just kind of need to, I don't want to say get over, but something I need to find a way to get past. I might need help for that, but that help might actually be coming from within myself, helping myself to allow myself to transform, let go of, move forward. So those are my thoughts on this one. Again, I honor anything that jumps out to you intuitively, and I'm going to probably sit with this a little bit longer. We'll definitely be writing some more things in my write-up, and of course, I'm really curious to see what Heather has to say is going on astrologically. Always an interesting perspective. So thank you for watching. My name is Laurie Blomer. My website is laurieblomer.com. My email is laurieblomerpsychic@gmail.com. Would love to hear from you. Would love to work with you. And I do hope you have an inspired week, and that you do find ways to sort of honor wherever you are at any given moment and find comfort in that. We'll see you next Sunday. Thanks for watching.